Hey guys, what's up? Oh, dude, I'm cramming it in right before Thanksgiving break, trying to get it all done. I'll probably be able to go live tomorrow um, on YouTube, but the rest of the days I'm have to go back to podcasting old school style, so that there won't be any behind the scenes. So there's gonna be a few days of not that. Uh, and resting and regrouping. And I'm about to talk all about the need to do this because I'm there. I am so exhausted. The engine's smoking, and this is this is like one of those times. Before I would have ignored this and I would have said, man up and keep going, and I would have driven myself straight down into the ground. But I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to sprint for the rest of the day, kind of assess the situation tomorrow and tidy some things up. And, whenever the holidays are over, we're going to be rolling here and we're going to be helping streamers and stream managers, showing people how to manage a stream and, make that son of a gun, make some change and not in the normal way. Anyway, I don't have a lot of time today. Like I said, I'm pressed. So I'm going to get this thing going. I just need a second to get old Sadie Bug out of the room so I can record this podcast and get going here. Oh, 1 second, guys. Okay, I'm back. All right. See, like today's one of those days where I have a lot of stuff going on and I just cannot make myself get into a hurry. But I mean, it's happening right now. So, all right, here we go. Three, two, one, and go. What's up, guys? Today I wanted to talk about the Great Stream Escape Plan and Marketing Weapon Number 7 by Chet Holmes, and the whole reason that I am where I am today, and the whole reason that we are connected as a society the way we are today is because of this little small tool. I don't know if you've heard of it, called the internet. And I remember, being an inexperienced business owner, even the very beginning of it, where I had no idea how this thing worked at all. I was like, it's got to be online. Like, I don't want I don't want just the local store. I want to be able to reach a lot of people, the most people is like, and of course, I want to create a system on how to do that. So, and I wanted to enjoy the process. So, along this journey came this thing called Twitch. And I saw that as an opportunity. I'm like, that is a fantastic way for me to connect with my people and be doing something that I enjoy because, uh, I grew up on video games. I grew up with Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and GoldenEye 007 and uh the first online game I ever played and immediately fell in love with was Splinter Cell, Pandora Tomorrow, Spies versus Mercs. Like that was the thing that got me into gaming online, and I would do that in my downtime from baseball, baseball in school, and then would come the video games at night, and that was like my thing. And I was like, man, you're already doing this. Like, this would be a great way to connect. And so I went off on this Twitch journey, and I was trying to, I didn't realize it at the time, but of course, like, we all have the same six human needs, and one of those things is significance. And I don't know, for the first 30 years of my life, I really struggled with feeling insignificant, and even, like, in a way, detesting my own pursuit to feel significant. And it's still something that I struggle with at times. And it just kind of comes and goes. But, I was looking to be significant in the sense of, like, I've done this my way. Like, because it was never my aim to stay on the internet all day with an online business. Like, I wanted to set something up and then step away from it and be like, well, that's taken care of, and never have to think about that again. It's like, I love seeing stuff through to completion. And, that shows up in my games. I'm like, back in the day, whenever video games were my whole life, it was like, of course, I was a completionist, a front to back, so I had to come up with systems to even monitor myself on that. But, the problem with all of this is, as a streamer, as a personality, you're always connected. And then, that's fine. And that lets the other side of my personality shine, the performer side, the side that kind of, I want to be liked. I want to please people. I want to entertain people. And I want to let loose. And, I'm like, in a way, scared of that side sometimes too. And that's just because of my high C tendencies, high cautious tendencies that I talked about yesterday. But whenever I was connected, I was always being that performer, and that's so draining to me. Like, I'm such an introvert, and that's the reason for all of the systems is I'm trying to bring, like, I'm working hard to bring the right people to me instead of me going out there and chasing the right person one-on-one. If I don't have that time to recharge, if I don't have my alone time, then, I end up becoming extremely drained. And, of course, I reached that point with Twitch streaming, but at the same time, simultaneously, right now, right this second, with my online business, and finally understanding, enough. And that's been a decision that was hard for me to make too. It's like, after I've understood this process enough to get going, I got going, and now we're getting closer and closer to launch, and things are coming along, and we're going to help stream managers manage streams and make it rain, and so eventually I came to this realization that the only way that I operate in a way to where I can satisfy both my need for systems and satisfy my need to be sociable, be around community, and really spend my extroverted style of energy creating team cohesion and being the enforcer a little bit too. I needed to put certainty in my systems. I needed to create systems around certainty. And one of those things in the wealth department was the company ClickFunnels, and just seeing all their testimonials, seeing how many lives they've changed, seeing how fast they've grown and what Russell Brunson's done, dedicating myself to learning that system became an absolute must for me, so much that I stepped away from streaming. And I realized, after being outside of it for a second, I'm like, hey, I can help people much more right here. And I'm like, what is that? What do you even call that? And it's been something that's taken, like, having these systems of certainty. It's like, okay, I know this business plan works. I know this plan works for my health. I know this plan works as far as maintaining relationships with my wife, my family, my friends. which is another area I've struggled with before at times, as we all do. But on this to Comma Club Hats journey is like, yes, it is the march to make $1 million before Funnel Hacking Live, which I'm way behind and we're way under pressure, and I'm loving it, you know? And that's a little scary to me. You know, it's a little outside my comfort zone, but there's this guy, one of the coaches in there, named James Frill, and I've heard him talk the least, and he's resonated with me the most pound for pound. Like, I talk a lot of times about Alex Sharfin and Stephen Larson and Russell Brunson and all those coaches that really resonate with me. But pound for pound is like little things that get said, like you know, it's like, we're wondering if James has any personality. It's like, yeah, I've heard of that before. Been accused of being a robot before. Like, just like, what's in there? Like, because it looks like a hard outer shell, but on the inside, there's that closet performer that has to be put down, because otherwise I revert to kind of like some other qualities that don't really move me along when my state isn't right. And it's all about state. Whatever state you're in determines your reality, and your emotional fitness is everything. And it's taken a long time for me to get a hold of it. And, you know, the first thing that I really wanted to do was identify my fears and figure out what exactly they were, because I remember I used to blame a whole bunch of things for my lack of success. And I would point at external things, and I'd blame this and I would blame that. And at certain times I would make the mistake of blaming someone else. And then I started blaming myself, and you never win at the blame game. But whenever I came to the understanding that I was holding me back, I was afraid of something. And a lot of times it wasn't apparent, and I didn't know what it was I was afraid of. And I needed, of course, a system to talk it out. And through those systems, it's like, I love to create new variables. I do love the details of the things that I want to focus on, and trying not to be a perfectionist is extremely hard for me. And, you know, so I like to go into the lab and spend a lot of time working on proven systems and just trying like little things, trying to break it, if you will, trying to see where the holes are and then come up with a solution for it. And, you know, the conflict in all of this is, you know, my personality type. I'm very fear driven, and there's this fine line between letting fear drive you or using fear as your emotional gas, your emotional fuel, if you will, and use it by preparing instead of letting it drive you into reaction. And understanding this concept, I'm quick to take on responsibility and be like, guys, I dropped the ball. That's just who I am. It's who I've always been. But just understanding and, you know, understanding that I'm not perfect and not tying my self-worth into that, and understanding that operator failure sometimes just happens. Like, we're all human beings. And, like, despite the outer shell, and, you know, I think about the perfect webinar, like I love the idea, because I was like, there's my system. And how can I use this with a stream and enjoy the process? It's like, there's my system. I can speak to the masses, and only the right people come to me, and everybody else just kind of fucks off, goes away. I'm like, oh, that's what I need, you know? But Russell's like, it's perfect. Don't mess with it. And that was so beautiful to me, you know, from a selling point. I'm like, it's already hashed out. There's a system that's proven that I can blow up and test. It's like I step over myself. So, this constant learning of yourself is where I do best, when I'm concentrating on gaining a full understanding of myself and a full understanding of other people and understanding how we all work together. And, it's been finding that balance between strategist and tactician. Reading The Ultimate Sales Machine the other day, whenever Chet Holmes mentioned that the most effective executives are the ones who are both strategic and tactical. And I'm both, but being both means having to fight hard for balance on that and understanding when to bring the tactician out, when to stay strategic. And most of the time, it's a good idea for me to stay strategic, and focus away from tasks, and I always like to draw a comparison back to Rainbow Six Siege. It's one of my favorite games. It's what this podcast is named after, is Marketing Siege Radio, because marketing is a game. Rainbow Six Siege is a game. They're both the same game in essence. It's a siege. It's a closing down. It's an elimination process and system. And I just love the game itself and seeing all the moving parts. I play for the love of the game, and just looking at it, I resonate with operators like Glaz, because he talks in his videos about, what's the same between an artist and a sniper. It's like details. Whenever the little things are out of place, it's like I get chills watching that operator video. And Smoke is a tactician, as far as, many ways on how to do his job, and he's strategic at first before the round starts, and then he turns into the tactician whenever it comes time for the metal to meet the meat. And then, guys like Thermite, it's like he's tactical on all those chemicals and geeking out over that, like he's got a chemist, but you play him strategically. You lay down the thermite charge and you blow holes in the wall, and there's really only one way to do it, and it's just like, where are we going to blow the hole? That's it. Get her done. And then, on the defensive side, Bandit on the strategist holding it down, like, I will not let this wall go down is the strategy, but being able to pick up and shift gears whenever the strategy goes sideways, and becoming that tactician is a fine art, and then getting out of there as quick as you can. And I found personally that focusing away from tasks is best for me. And instead, I should be redirecting my focus on my state control, clearly assessing where I am and determining when I need my breaks, when I need to let that performer take a rest, and when I've been being an isolated, cautious person for too long, and I need to let that person out, and I need to go and have real life community with somebody and unplug from the internet, even though I'm trying to conquer it. And even though it is one of the best marketing tools out there, it's just good for maintaining the health of the soul. Thanksgiving's coming up, and I'm, I've been dedicating a lot of personal time getting and maintaining a state of gratitude, so I operate optimally, and I can be the most effective operator that I can be, assisting others, assisting my people, and viciously defending my team and turf when necessary. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. There are a couple more podcasts, but go ahead and start giving thanks now. You'll feel a lot better. And remember, you're just one upgrade away. Awesome. And now I have to go. Get on the waiting list. It closes Black Friday. Peace.